Am I the asshole for assuming which name belonged to the human and which one belonged to the dog? My mom lives in 55+ community. I lived with her for 5 months last year, so I got to know a lot of the neighbors well. It's a new community, so a bunch of people have moved in since I lived there. I moved out of state and I was visiting my mom for a long weekend this past week. While walking my dog, I had seen a woman and her dog a few times and was friendly to her, making small talk. One day I ran into a neighbor I knew and she pointed to a house and asked if I had met Dorothy and Squeaks yet. I said I think I had talked to her but hadn't met, officially introduced myself. Later that day I saw the woman and her dog and introduced myself and said, "And you're Dorothy, right?" The lady made an offended face and said, "Dorothy is my dog. My name is Squeaks." She walked off, and the rest of time I was at my mom's that I saw she gave me dirty looks every time I passed. Am I the asshole? Edit. After talking to neighbors, apparently Squeaks is a nickname she has asked to go by. Not the asshole. A perfectly reasonable assumption, lol. Anyway, Squeaks is just her nickname. Her real name is Bowser. I'm going with not the asshole. That was a totally reasonable assumption to make. Probably you're assuming it irritated Squeaks because you were almost definitely not the first person to make the mistake, but she shouldn't have taken it out on you. Not the asshole. I love my dog more than most people and would be happy for you to call me Bean, lol. Seriously though, this woman needs to relax a little. Also, what is a bee community? Lol. Honest mistake. She has no reason to get huffy. Don't take on a ridiculous nickname and then get mad when people think it's your dog's. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Squeaks is one item behind Toto on the list entitled "One of these is Dorothy and the other is a dog." Info: is Squeaks their last name or first name? Either way, not the asshole, cause I can see where the confusion came from. Not the asshole. How dare you, sir? My grandfather was Fido, my father was Fido, and god damn it, I'm Fido. Have you met my brother, Rover? He has a cat named Jim. I once had a neighbor introduce me to their small child and large dog, and I heard Roxanne and Slayer. Naturally, I assumed Slayer was the dog and Roxanne was the child. Turns out, Roxanne was the dog, and Sawyer was the child. My partner and I privately called him the Slayer family until we moved. Edit. Oh, and not the asshole, of course. So is Kelly his wife or his dog? Edit. Dang, my first 100 upvotes and my first award. I knew one day B99 would get me far. Thanks friends. Not the asshole, but this is hilarious. I would have made the same mistake too. Not the asshole. My dog's name is Emily, and plus who gives a shit when people call her name? I listen, and when they call mine she listens, lol. Not the asshole. I'd have made the same mistake. Hell, I live in a very dog-friend apartment complex and we only really know each other's by our dog's name. For example, I'm Miss Sally's mom. My neighbor is June's mom, and there's Rocco's dad, and Bruce's dad and mom. Lol, seriously? That woman is way too easily offended. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This is hilarious though. Honest mistake to make, and whatever embarrassment you felt afterwards was plenty of punishment. Not the asshole. This can't be the first time this has happened to this woman. Her nickname is Squeaks. Also, this is 100% why I named my dog Kevin. I want people to be really unsure if I am talking about a person or a dog in conversation. Yeah, Kevin has just been all over the place since lockdown, but at least we get to go outside on walks a lot. Not the asshole. That's a pretty logical assumption to make. You'd think someone who asks to go by Squeaks would be a little more flexible, have a sense of humor. Not the asshole. If you're a woman named Squeaks and your dog is named Dorothy, you should be very familiar with people making this false assumption. She chose to go by that nickname and chose to call her dog Dorothy. People don't get too mad about situations they literally created. Unless she's mad that her reputation didn't precede her, which means she needs to get over herself. This should have been a funny casual thing. She's being weird and dramatic. I'd say not the asshole. Especially since you said it was a nickname. I feel like those are reserved for close friends, and seeing as you just met her, I don't see how you would be the asshole. You tried to even remember her name when you had not even met her. I would feel weird going up to someone I had never met and just saying, "Hey, Squeaks." Because there is no relationship or repertoire with them. Not the asshole. We named the dog Indiana. So, said Dr. Henry Jones Sr. to his son Dr. Henry, Indiana, Jones Jr. Not the asshole. Oh my god, this is giving me Scully's wife, dog Kelly vibes, haha. Also, with a nickname like Squeaks, she's got to have known she was going to be mistaken for a pet at least once. For someone who chose to have a silly name, she's definitely taking herself seriously. Not the arsehole. Geez, it's an easy enough mistake to make. Also, you missed an opportunity to ask her about Lynette, Linda, and Charlie. Ha ha ha, isn't that a plot from Brooklyn 99? Not the arsehole, op. Funny as fuck, but definitely not the arsehole. She should be happy that you remembered the names. Not the arsehole. That's awkward, but seriously, how were you to know? Not the arsehole. My cat's name is Debbie, so I have to be careful sometimes with how we talk about her in public. Clearly not the arsehole. Pretty funny. If you choose a nickname like that. Not the arsehole. I have a weird hippie name and I regularly give my pets totally normal people names. My vet's office has a welcome chalkboard out front where they write down the names of the pets that have appointments for the day, just as a cute thing, I guess. I pulled up one day to see they'd put my name down on the pet board instead of my dog's. I thought it was funny as hell and enjoyed teasing the staff about it. Not the arsehole. My family call me Smudge, they don't, but it is a pet name like this which would identify me. A few years ago I was away for my niece's 4th birthday, but she asked if I could Skype in, which I duly did with my cat on my lap. She then ran around getting all of her guests to come and say hello to Smudge and Barbara. Her friend's mum leant into shot and said, "Hi Barbara, how's things?" Barbara's the cat, I'm Smudge. We laughed about it and moved on. If you have a nickname that's a pet name while your pet has a human name, you're going to get people mixing you up. Deal with it or change your nickname. No way this post is real. Not the arsehole. If she walks around calling herself Squeaks, she should get used to this type of confusion. Also to laughter. TBH, I also think that neighbor set you up if she asked if you met Dorothy and Squeaks, in that order, lol. I mean, who goes around asking, have you met dog, and, owner? Not only are the names confusing, but the phrasing made it worse. Not the arsehole. It was an honest mistake and Squeaks overreacted. Not the arsehole. It was an honest mistake. There was no need for her to hold it against you after the initial awkwardness. Not the arsehole, and I'm sorry for laughing. Squeaks is a common name for a dog, not so common for a person. Kinda understandable for her to feel bad though, but I hope she laughs it off with you someday. Sounds like a great story to tell. Also, this reminded me of that one gag in B99 where they don't know if Kelly was the wife or the dog, so I still had to pause while writing this comment. Thanks for the laugh. Man, I was going to ask if the dog's name was Indiana. Oh, and not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. We're doing this. Time to play wife or dog. Oh my god, this seems like a plot from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Rolling on the floor laughing. Not the arsehole. This is hysterical. Not the arsehole. LMAO. It's so funny to see this right now because my friend was talking about a relative's dog biting someone who threatened the owner and his name was Russell. I was like, how old is Russell that he's still biting? Because I thought she was talking about a person. Not the arsehole. Lol, pretty sure there are a lot more humans called Dorothy than dogs. And did they really say meet Dorothy and Squeaks in that order? Because if so, it sounds like a setup. LMAO. No, someone who calls themselves Squeaks cannot reasonably be offended when someone assumes it's the dog's name. Not the arsehole. What did she expect? You're not psychic, and it's not like Squeaks is a name you hear applied to a lot of humans. It actually reminds me of Lynette, Squeaky, from the Manson family. Not in association, I'm sure. That, Squeaks, would appreciate. It's a normal assumption and probably happens all the time. Not the arsehole. If she goes by the nickname Squeaks, she should expect things like this could happen. I'm occasionally called by the name of my cat because she has a very common girl's name, and we have a doormat with a paw print that says cat names house on it as a joke. She does run the place. So door-to-door salespeople will as often as not call me by the cat's name. I correct them and tell them to get off my lawn, nicely if they go when asked the first time. It'd be silly to get offended over an honest error. Not the arsehole. How can someone have the nickname Squeaks and not have a sense of humor? Who the hell would assume a person would be called that when given the other name was Dorothy? Not the arsehole. But you could say that your mother introduced them as Dorothy and Squeaks, so you simply assumed she said the human's name first. Not the arsehole. In my dog park group, it's common for people to get the dog and owner names mixed up the first few times we meet. It's funny. I have an unusual first name, very uncommon. My dog has a human name and people often mix this up until they've been corrected a few times. I'm not offended in the least. Not the asshole. Dorothy is the girl. Toto is the dog. Who would want to be called Squeaks? Is Kelly Scully's dog's or wife's name? LMAO. I mean, surely she's had her fair share of torment for that stupid name. Some people are so willfully weak that they choose to get offended by simple, and very understandable, misunderstandings. What a fool. Not the asshole. I have a child and 2 dogs. Sophie, Lily, and Grady. You tell me which one is my child, lol. This is hilarious. It's an understandable mistake when a pet has a human name or a human has a nickname that sounds like a pet's name, which is the case here. I wouldn't have thought that Dorothy was the dog either. Am I the only one who thinks it would be hilarious if the neighbor's nickname was Toto? You meant no harm, and the neighbor didn't need to be permanently pissed off at you for a simple mistake. Not the asshole.